Alright, this is Michael J. Katt, and today, being that right now we are 39 minutes from the Dow closing, I wanted to discuss prepping. Now, on my old channel, when I went by my real name, Michael Stroop, that was before YouTube permanently deleted my name off their record. Now I go by Michael Katt. However, I did want to talk about prepping and why a person should already be prepped. This time that we are in right now, it should not really be a surprise to anyone. In fact, on my older channel, going back before the Delphi murders, I talked to this frequently. In fact, I did a whole series on prepping just for this occasion. Mind you, I didn't know that it would be viral. I assumed it would be a bank collapse for some reason, but there's always going to be a reason. Now, is the virus a hoax? Maybe. It could be. PSYOPs? Maybe. Is it real? Maybe. Is it deadly? It can be, or at least I've heard. So there's a lot of things about this that we don't know as the general public. However, they are shutting the world down like it's viral cancer. And that I don't understand. I realize that every year about 30-some thousand people die of the flu. And I've maintained the fact that not everybody has this virus. In fact, it's very limited. In fact, in my state, I think it's been for the last 3 or 4 days, it stood at 12 people confirmed with it. But they say it spreads easier than the flu. So they're expecting spikes to break out. And I can guarantee you this, they will. And it's going to hit the media. And right now they're shutting everything down. Everything that deals with our economy, they're shutting down. Schools, the NBA, all sports will be off, man. Any concerts, bars, restaurants, they're going to shut everything down. And I don't know why. I don't know why. Am I afraid of the virus? No. But then again, I don't even know that there is a virus. I don't know that it isn't just BS. It's hard to say. There is none of us out there, at least that's watching my channel, that are virologists that can actually say, oh yeah, man, this will just straight kill you. We don't know that at all. In fact, it looks for the most part just to be like the flu and you get over it. So anyway, these are the ideas that I talked about on my old channel. These aren't all of them. And if you never thought about this time, something's probably wrong. Like you watched too much television and you thought the Federal Reserve was a part of our government. It's not. It's the PICs that own it. They own our economy. And they have since 1913, since Woodrow Wilson put us under the Federal Reserve, of which he apologized for. But I'm sure that he took that apology back once he smoked a turd in hell. So anyway, these are some things that you should have already thought about and already have in place. 1, find a good water source, preferably running water. Make sure it's in the woods where it's out of sight of anyone. 2, stay away from the general public and stay silent on your location of where you would go. Have a tent ready, at least have some kind of coverage, a shelter of some kind, something that you could put up. Have fishing equipment like a pole, hooks, maybe a seine net, ways that you could catch fish, things that you could eat. Have a BB gun, man. A BB gun is perfect because you can go out and buy like 2,000 rounds of BBs for nothing. And let me tell you why. Because all native birds in America can be cooked on a fire and ate. They're not poisonous. All meat is meat. And a bird will make food. Trust me. It doesn't matter if it's a bunch of sparrows or anything else like that. A bird can be ate. 5, have a way to create fire, man. Be it spark. You know what? I seen a really good video going back years ago where they talked about making like a sack of fire starters. And what you would do would be like you would put Vaseline into a cooking pot. You would put that on warm. Well, please knock it off. Put it on warm and then melt the Vaseline down to where it was liquid. Take cotton balls, dip them down into the melted Vaseline, and then drop them into a plastic bag. And now what you can do with that is you can light one of those after it had been dipped in Vaseline and that Vaseline hardened. then it would burn for like 5 minutes. So it would definitely help with creating a fire, to where you could cook things, stay warm. Boil water, that's another thing, because you want to boil water to help sanitize, as well as for drinking water. It may not taste like bottled water that you would buy, but guess what? If you boil the water, it cooks the bacteria out of it and virus, and it would be drinkable. Now, another thing is animal traps, such as conibear traps, live traps, any like a foothold trap, anything that you can set to catch mammals would also provide an added food source. Chemicals such as alcohol, iodine, bleach, all are sanitizing chemicals. Have them on hand, because those are what's going to help get you through, because it will help sanitize things such as plates, eating utensils, your hands. There's not going to be anything that you would really be touching out there that had been touched by a person that had been infected and had been in contact with this virus. So those would be good to have on hand as well. Also handkerchiefs, because look, man, there's a big shortage of toilet paper, and that's because everybody went out and bought toilet paper. Now, I had that stocked back because it's always good to have things like that on stock, where it's set back for an emergency time. This may be that emergency time. I'm not saying that it is. This could clear up tomorrow, or it could go into a financial meltdown. We may have to reset the economy. There's a multitude of reasons why we've been hit with this. I don't know if it's a biological weapon. And if it is a biological weapon, then it's got to be worse than what in the hell it is we're seeing. But again, I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing people out there with this with these symptoms exhibiting all this. Now, if it's like the flu and you would start showing symptoms within a few days, again, I'm not seeing the massive spread of it. Now, again, in Indiana, there's been 12 cases confirmed. That's what they're saying, but it's been that way for days. So anyway, also seeds would be good to have to plant. That way that you would have food after the summer. And again, this is if it goes into financial meltdown. Not saying that it will, but it could. Handkerchiefs make for good toilet paper. You can wash them out in a bleach solution. You could wash them out with soap and running water. And they can be reused. That is something that can always be used. If you go back into the 1800s, man, people didn't have toilet paper. They had to use other items such as, a handkerchief or the like. Don't use leaves. If you use leaves, believe me, you got to use green leaves. If you use a crunchy leaf, believe me, that's going to be the hard time right there. Now, this is a time when people should be coming together, but at the same time, that's where the government don't want us, is together. Now, I'm kind of alone here, I believe, because I am pretty antisocial. I don't socialize. I don't leave my house to go socialize. I don't have people that I go socialize with as far as visiting. Most all of my visitation or people that I talk to is by phone. And that's the people that I can talk to. I'm down on a lot of people, especially people that are younger than me, because they were never taught. They were never pointed to what may happen. And that's why it finds a lot of younger people really just out of sorts as to what to go do here. Because look, man, the one thing you don't want to do right now is exactly when the government wants you locked in your house, jailed away in your own house. There is a reason for that. And to stay there, that's when things will go into martial law. That's when they'll come around and start rounding people up. That's when they'll start quarantining everybody. And believe me, and I heard Jeff say it on his channel the other day, and I was in full agreement. If they come around and start doing that, when they take you off, that's probably the last you're going to be seen. That's just me talking, but I know how these bastards work, and that is how they work. So, kind of be ready to have a place to go. and you want to get out and you want to get away from people. You don't want it to be where everybody else is going to go. Don't go to a frickin' park or anything like that, because that's where these martial law, when they start rounding people up, these are places that they would go. You want that to be out of sight, out of mind, in a place that nobody else knows of. Let's see, what else? Things will start disappearing from the shelves, just like toilet paper, sanitary napkins. These are things that's going to start running out. And when they start running out, when shelves start running out, when transportation becomes limited, when there are nothing left on the store shelves and people aren't making money because work's shut down, that's when shit hits the fan. That's when people will start rioting. That's when it's going to get bad and ugly. And when it gets to that, believe me, there is no coming back. There is no, oh, it'll be okay in a month and everything will be like it was. Right now, it could go that way. It may. I'm not saying that it won't. But what I am pointing out is that this right here and everything I'm stating here should have already crossed everybody's mind long ago. Long ago. In fact, prepping for this date was on my mind well over 20 years ago. And when I mentioned this to most people, they go, yeah, but you guys always said the Federal Reserve. Well, guess what, bitch? It's here. That may be exactly what we're looking at. Now, I'm not trying to push anybody into being scared, and I'm not being a doomsday sayer, and I'm not saying this is the end. But what I am saying is that for this reason is why most people should have already thought of this stuff. Have a way to get food, have water, have sanitization, be very low key in anything that you say, because look, they're going to come looking for everyone. They know where you live. You pay taxes. I mean, you see where I'm at? You pay. Your address is on record with them. They know where you live at. So if you're talking or you tell somebody on your cell phone, guess what that cell phone is? It's a fucking bug. It lets them know everything that you're doing. They know who your friends are. They know where you would go. They know all this because it's right there on your phone where you look everything up at. So again, this should have already been in your mind. It should have been something that you had already thought about, and you should already have a secret locale to where you was going to go. Anyway, just a few things that I wanted to touch on, and that's about it. Now, at the end of this, right now, I want to say this. Ladies and gentlemen, we are not a democracy. We have never been a democracy. People think we're a democracy, and that's because that's what's been taught in the school system, that we're a democracy. And long live the democracy, because we can vote on who we want to be our leader. Well, we don't vote for leaders. Our president is to follow the Constitution. That's why the sovereign people wrote it. We, the people. Because we wrote that. That's our contract to the government that they must stand by. No one in this country has constitutional rights. That's an oxymoron to say you got constitutional rights. You have God-given inalienable rights that the government must protect because of the Constitution. But there are no rights granted to you in the Constitution. What you have and what you've always had as being an American is God-given rights, natural rights, human rights. That is what you have. That trumps anything and everything. So if they ever say you have constitutional rights, they're lying. You don't. That's your document. That's your contract to them to maintain your human rights. What we are is a republic, because in a democracy, they can vote your rights away, which they have. And that's why they maintain that we're a democracy. But nowhere in the Constitution does it say we're a democracy. It states we are a republic, because the republic stands as it is. Free people. The government must maintain that. That is what our army's for, is to guard our border and to be there to ensure our freedom, which is long gone. Long gone. We are a republic. You are not a United States citizen. You are an American. You are not that all capitalized name. That all capitalized name is a corporation. When you go to court, they can only deal with a corporation. They, the state, is a corporation, and they must deal in commerce with another corporation. You must deny that all capitalized name and say, this is a trade name. This is not my name. This is not how I spell my God-given breathing entity name. It is not all capitalized. You have the wrong person, and I motion this court to dismiss because you cannot be that all capitalized name. What they did was they traded freedom for benefits. Going back in time, immigrants came to this country for one reason, to be free. Today they come here for one reason, for the handouts. It's a big fucking difference. I would take freedom over any benefit that would ever be given to me. Any benefit. It wouldn't matter if somebody said, here's $1 billion, or you can be free. What do you choose? I'm free. You can jam those promissory notes up your backside. I don't want them. May peace be with you all, and may God save the Republic.